Former US President Donald Trump has invoked his right against self-incrimination yesterday in a day-long interview about his business practices. He refused to answer any questions from the New York Attorney General at his scheduled deposition, except for one about his name. It comes just days after the FBI searched his Mar-a-Lago mansion for classified documents that they believe he took from the White House. So what secrets could the former president be hiding that the FBI and the New York Attorney General's office are so desperate to find? Or is it all a big stitch-up? Well, joining me now is Scott Lucas, Professor of American Studies at the University of Birmingham and a specialist in US and British foreign policy. Hiya, Scott. Nice to see you again. Well, did anybody see this coming? Some might say that Donald Trump was becoming just a little bit too large on the horizon again of American politics, and the FBI colluded with Joe Biden to shut him down. I guess you don't agree.
Well, some might say, Bev, but I'm going to start with the facts. First of all, you have the FBI executing a search warrant on Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort in Florida on Monday. Now, why did they do that? Well, it is a crime in the United States. Indeed, it was made a crime by Donald Trump himself to take away classified documents after you leave government office. Now, Donald Trump took away 15 boxes of documents, including classified material, after he left the presidency. Now, after protracted negotiations with his lawyers, those boxes were returned to the National Archives. But then investigators got information that Trump has still more documents that have not been returned. And so the FBI went to a judge and said, look, we have probable cause, which is what you need for a search warrant. The judge agreed, and that's why they investigated. Now, we'll see what boxes they took away. They reportedly took 10 boxes of documents and whether they have top secret material. Now, that's one case. The second case you referred to is the one in which the New York State Attorney General, for 3 years, in one of a series of investigations of Donald Trump's business practices, is investigating possible fraud. Now, it's not proven yet. It's just possible fraud, but there is evidence there. And so that's why she called Donald Trump in. And for 4 hours, he repeated 2 words to more than 400 questions. Same answer. I'm taking the Fifth Amendment.
You can see, though, why, can't you? You can see why people who support Trump, and I am not necessarily one of them, Scott, at all, but you can see why people just think this smells a bit off. You've got Joe Biden, deeply unpopular with the American public right now, barely able to string a sentence together in some of those press conferences you see him at. Donald Trump making noises about coming back. You've got the midterm elections coming back in October, in which, you know, it's suspected that the Democrats might take a bit of a drubbing. And so you can see why those who support Donald Trump say this just doesn't smell right. I don't know how else to explain it. It looks like they're trying to provoke him, to silence him. Go on, just respond to that.
Oh, I mean, Bev, this has been the standard ritual line for years from Donald Trump when he's under investigation, which is, I am the victim here. It's the deep state. Yeah. And once again, when I hear deep state, I just have to go back to the facts that we're talking about here. And that is, Bev, if you took away confidential documents from GBNews, especially if they had to deal with security, you would probably face the loss of your job and possibly worse. If I took documents away from my university, I'd be disciplined and probably fired for doing that. So why is Donald Trump above the law just because he claims he's the victim? That isn't a Democratic versus Republican issue. It's not left versus right. It's certainly not a deep state issue. In other words, it's an issue of accountability.
So do we know for a fact, Scott, just to interrupt you, do we know for a fact that he did take these documents? Has he admitted that he took these documents?
What we know, Bev, is this, that the National Archives in January, as part of investigating or providing documents to the House Committee about the Capitol attack, said, whoa, we've got boxes that are missing here from the Trump administration. And we know that they tracked those documents to Mar-a-Lago, and we know that Donald Trump, through his lawyers, did return 15 boxes. That's already known. The development in the last few days that led to the FBI search warrant is that they were tipped off by someone within Mar-a-Lago that more documents were there. In other words, Trump didn't return everything. And again, That's why they went in to see if that was true. Now, they have taken away 10 boxes from Mar-a-Lago, which does tend to indicate, yeah, Trump had at least 25 boxes of documents, including documents we know that were classified.
It sort of reads like a bad B movie, because surely who keeps documents in boxes anymore, Scott? I mean, that seems like the basic question. You know, surely documents these days are on a little stick or on your computer, or they're in a cloud. This idea that Donald Trump was filling his boot with boxes of paper as he ran out of the White House 2 years ago, it just doesn't really add up.
Except that Donald Trump, apart from his Twitter account on his phone, is not a big fan of technology. He actually prefers having things on paper. And indeed, we know from the White House, what he would do is he would read documents and then, again, technically a violation of federal law, instead of preserving them, he would rip them up. Loads of shredded documents were actually found after he left office. That's just the way that Trump operates. So I'm not actually saying that when he took away those documents, including the classified material, there was some evil intent here. There was some cover-up. That hasn't been established. I'm just simply saying Donald Trump made it a crime to take documents away when you leave government office, but Donald Trump did exactly that for some unknown reason.
Well, he's the worst fraudster in history then. He's like a character out of Scooby-Doo if he's printing out all these pieces of paper and keeping them in a cardboard box. I mean, surely it does mean, Scott, that he's going to be banged to rights. Surely it does mean that if he's found guilty of taking classified documents, the evidence is going to be there for all to see. You can't blame it on a technological issue with the cloud. It suddenly burst into my inbox and I had no idea.
Yeah, but this is his wonderful strength, Bob. Let's put it this way, that he can get away with something in plain sight. Let me give another example back in 2017, which is documented in the Mueller report. In fact, we got it on camera. When Donald Trump, trying to block the Russia investigation, fired the FBI director, he had a meeting with two very important people. And he went into that meeting and said, guess what? I just fired that nutcase, James Comey, the FBI director.
Yeah.
You know who the two people were he told that to? It was the Russian Foreign Minister, Sergei Lavrov, and it was the Russian ambassador to the United States, Sergei Kislyak. The Mueller report found that Donald Trump, on at least 10 occasions, either obstructed justice or tried to obstruct justice. They found significant evidence for that. But you know what? Donald Trump has not faced a criminal charge over any of those 10 cases of obstruction of justice or attempted obstruction.
Well, surely that means he's innocent, doesn't it?
Oh, well, it's all a witch hunt. It's all a hoax. What it means is that Donald is for 30 years in developing a business, then going into politics. He's been able to cut corners. He's been able to escape accountability, and he's very good at doing it. And so what he does in the end to protect himself is say, hey, guys, it's not me. Mm-hmm. I'm not the criminal here. It's that justice system. And you know what? Like
it was the janitor.
There are a lot of folks who still believe it.
It was the janitor, and he'd have got away with it if it wasn't for those pesky kids.